we made an announcement that we are going to plan to reopen our children's ministry at Catalyst Church, and we're excited to do so. But I wanted to read to you a document that we came up with, and it's right there, right there. Let me scoot over so that you and I have an opportunity to know what we are getting ourselves into. Because here's the deal, there's lots of questions, and I know you might have more questions. And if you do, make sure you let us know, and we're going to try to do our dead level best to facilitate your questions so that we can make sure the reopening goes well. Now, there's one caveat that we want to make sure that you know, and I'm going to read it from the very beginning, and it says the following, that we at Catalyst Church will follow the EVSC openings and closing plan, which simply means this. If EVSC schools are closed because of the virus, then we are closed. All right, so it's as simple as that. If EVSC schools are closed because of the virus, then we are, as Catalyst Church, we are going to be closed as well. Now, same thing. When EVSC reopens, or when it opens, like right now at least, it's planned to open in a couple weeks, then we'll reopen. But we will always reopen the Sunday after school reopens. The Sunday after school reopens. So in other words, school is reopening soon, but at the same time, after the school reopens, I think it's on the 16th or something like that. But after the school reopens, I think that's Sunday. But after the school reopens, whatever that Sunday is next, is be our plans to reopen with these following guidelines. So I'm going to read it to you, and here we go. So we are going to be reopening our children's ministry, and it will not currently include the toddlers and the babies. We will not be including the toddlers and babies. Why? Because those babies and those toddlers can't wear masks, and they can wear masks for a little bit, but they'll rip it off and throw a fit. So we want to make sure the kiddos are protected. So we can't necessarily do that. So babies and toddlers will not be a part of the reopening of the children's ministry until a later date. So let me read this to you. Catalyst Church loves and values the children of Catalyst Church. Other than the physical health of the children, other than the spiritual health of the children, the physical health of the children is a huge priority. We know that there are a lot of uncertainties at this time, but we need to know that we're doing everything that we possibly can to make sure your children are cared for and protected as the whole child. We have missed your children. I know our volunteers have missed your children, and I know you probably have missed allowing them to have fun and to learn what's inside the children's ministry. So, and we look forward to teaching them and caring for them, and again, in a safe, loving, and learning environment. So that is our heartbeat. That really is. With that being said, here are our guidelines. Here are our guidelines that we will stick through. Now, we've reached out to a handful of other churches, and at these other churches, we have learned from them. Some of them have been reopened, some of them have reopened and closed and learned their lesson. So in our case, we have done our due diligence, reaching out to and studying. This is not just something we came up with, but this is a collective plan within inside our children's ministry, as well as other churches, and what they have done right, what they have done wrong. So here it is. So keep this in mind. If EVSC is closed, we are closed, period. There's no, if EVSC is closed, we're closed. If EVSC is open because of or after the virus or whatever, EVSC is opened, we'll be reopened the Sunday after that. Here we go. Here's our guidelines. If your child is sick or has been around someone that is sick or could be sick, do not send them to the children's ministry. Just don't send them to the children's ministry. Please, just don't send them to the children's ministry at all. If you think that there's any way that your child has been exposed in any way, keep them home. Please keep them home. The worst thing that could happen is a kid getting sick and other people getting sick because of your kid being sick, just because you wanted to put them into the children's ministry. We're here for you, but we don't want to expose other people. So use your wisdom. As the EVSC has said, it's your job as a parent to check on this. So here you go. Masks will be required at all times. Keyword, all times. Mask politics aside, masks are required inside the Catalyst Church building at all times, especially with children and adults, unless the doctor has a note provided that it is not healthy for the child to have a mask on. All right. If not, we will provide masks. The church, Catholic Church, has invested in child-sized masks. So if you forget one, we will provide a disposable mask for you. Every time you walk into the children's ministry, you will have a temperature check. We have invested in these thermometer things that, like, you put it to a forehead and non-touch thermometers. We will take a thermometer. We will check the kids' temperature and the volunteers and everybody who comes with inside the children's ministry. According to the CDC guidelines, anything 100.4, 100.4, 100.4, or higher will not be allowed to enter into the children's ministry according to CDC guidelines. Now, I understand that it's going to be hot. People are going to be coming in, and then they take their temperature, and it's 100.5. And you're like, my kid's not sick. My kid's been quarantined. How do they get sick? What we're going to do is we're just going to ask you to step aside for about 5 minutes or so, cool off into the air conditioning, and ask you to retake your temperature in about 5 or 10 minutes after that. And if it's still higher than 100.4, we will lovingly ask you not to enter your kid into the children's ministry with love and complete and honor and respect. With that being said, next snacks. We originally decided not to do snacks, but the kids will get grouchy, so we have invested in little teeny water bottle things, 8-ounce water bottles that the kids will be able to use themselves. And number two, that these kids are going to be able to have the opportunity to have some little snack things, all individually wrapped, so there's not cross contamination, and so on and so forth. All right, snacks. Individual craft supplies. We have invested as well in little boxes, plastic boxes that will have your kids' names on them with all the craft things that need to be in there, and so that your child will be able to color and to cut and to do what he or she needs to do inside with that box right there. So keep that in mind. So no cross contamination at all, and the kid can continue to pick up their boxes as the weeks go on. Social distancing. We will practice social distancing. The children will be spread out at least 10 or 6 feet from each other. These children will be spread out. We won't be doing hands-on games. They'll learn. They'll do some craft. They'll do some snacks. They'll do worship with the mask on. They're going to have a great time, even though they might not have the games that they're used to having. All right, social distancing, and the volunteers will practice that as well. Restrooms. We're going to be having restroom breaks. Of course, the kids need to pee and do number 2 as well. That these two children will be allowed in the bathroom at a time. The children, while waiting for the bathroom, will wait 6 feet apart in order to go to the bathroom. After those two children have left, the volunteer will go on with gloves and go wipe down any touchable surfaces that the kids might have touched, and then let the next 2 kids come in, the next 2 kids, and the cycle will continue. We're going to strongly encourage that the kids will use hand sanitizer, but more importantly, wash their hands for an indefinite amount of time. And if you parents can continue to teach your kids on how to wash their hands, and we'll also give them a squirt of hand sanitizer as they go back into their areas. All right, adults will, after the bathroom break, the adults will go in there and do one more wipe down of the bathrooms. And those bathrooms will be closed off to the rest of the church building, rest of the church. It will not be able to be used. So if you are an adult and you're watching this, you need to go use the bathrooms in our coffee cafe. So children's, after worship service and after children's ministry is over, the children's ministry area will be sanitized, we'll be fogging it, we'll be cleaning it, we'll be wiping everything down. Restrooms and common spaces will be cleaned and fogged after the fact. A lot of work is going to go on to this, but your kids are important to us, and you are as well. Volunteers kind of do the same thing. They'll arrive 40 minutes beforehand to wipe, sanitize, and prepare. They will also take the temperature checks. They will also be required to wear masks unless they have a doctor's notes. They will need to make sure sanitize things and to sanitize the crafts afterwards. That's the volunteers. So also parents. Normally, back before this whole virus craziness went on, it was not that big of a deal for us to have a lot of people back inside the children's ministry area. Parents and grandparents would bring their kids back there. Won't be that way anymore. as you can see on this note, one parent or guardian needs to bring the kids back. Now we know that there might be a baby in one arm and 5 kids on the other arm. We'll figure that out, but the goal is one parent heading back to the children's ministry at a time. You will see marks on the ground, little round circles that say 6 feet apart. You've seen them in every store. Heading towards the children's ministry check-in. So the way this is simply going to work is you are, as a parent or guardian, you're going to check in your kid just like normal with a couple things. Number one, stay 6 feet apart. Number two, wear your mask. Number three, make sure you will have wipes and sanitizing wipes so that you can wipe off the keyboard and the mouse after you use it. That's all we're asking you to do, is stay 6 feet apart, parents and guardians of your kids, and then stay 6 feet apart, like I said, but wipe down the surfaces that you touch. We can't have a cleaning team walking around you. We just need to make sure that you are a part of the solution as well. So that's our plan. Now, I know that you might have questions, and that's fine. Let us know if you have questions, and then reach out to us the best way you can. Now, keep this in mind. Please keep this in mind. Watch the EVSC notifications. If for some reason that they postpone school, we are postponing our children's ministry. As of right now, we are planning to open on August the 23rd, which is in about 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks. So plan ahead on that. We'd love to see your kids. Again, no babies, no toddlers. Care will be given. But if the EVSC is closed, we are closed. When the EVSC reopens, whenever they might be, maybe they'll close down for 2 weeks because of the virus. Now, if it's a holiday or something like that, no, of course, we'll be open. Just because EVSC is closed for Christmas, we'll still be open. That's not the point. If they're closed for virus and health-related issues, we'll be closed. So watch the EVSC calendar. When EVSC reopens, this plan of action will be in place. And then from there, we'll move into the stage of making sure your kids are safe by reopening the Sunday after EVSC reopens. With that being said, as we're doing our dead level best, we cannot wait to see our kids on August the 23rd. If for some reason EVSC changes their mind, we've got a game plan as well. So we love you. We care for you. That is Children's Ministry FYI. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. In the link provided somewhere inside this video, whether YouTube or wherever this might be, you will see a link to the document that you see right here. This document is yours to download, to look at, and so on and so forth. It's everything I just read, but maybe you're a reader, so read away.